Welcome back, everyone. This is Tiffany and John Pendleton. This is the Forgotten Working Class podcast. Today, we have with us an incredible woman who I am so excited to share with you all. This beautiful woman is formerly known as Miss Amy to us, but in the working world, she is Amy Yee. Let's welcome Amy Yee.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So excited to have you here. So, Amy is one hell of a woman, and I'm so honored to have her here. We met her. Wow, our daughter was 2 or 3 years old,
Too.
and
Yeah.
she was her daycare teacher. So, over the last 10 years, we've really watched each other's lives grow. Um, from dating to getting married to having children, and just really watched each other's lives grow and transform. So, yeah,
It's been
Amy,
beautiful.
it has been. What do you do for work, Amy?
So, primarily, I work with my husband's family. They own a Asian vegetable farm. So, it's 80, the company itself is over 80 years old, and they've been farming
Wow.
down here for over 40 years. So, uh, when me and my husband Ethan started dating, he was in school, and when we started dating, he said he would really like to have his wife to work on the farm at some point, and I was like, yeah, okay. I was always in early childhood, so kids are my passion. And so I just did preschool for a while, for about 10 years. And then before we got married, just was like, all right, I think I'm going to work on the farm. So I have been here working since we got married in 2016. So the same year we got married, I started working with him. And I do a lot of things. Primarily, I do food safety during the season, and then during the off season, which is the summertime until about November, I do anything and everything.
What are you guys
So
growing out there?
we have about 15 different Asian vegetables, mostly like leafy greens, cabbages. The common ones are bok choy, Napa cabbage, like the baby bok choy. We do radishes and stuff like that. So we have every year we kind of try to add in something that kind of fuses the Asian culture and like the Asian fusion, gourmet stuff that's happening. So we'll try different things for a season or two and just see how it goes. And we'll either eliminate a product that is like the lowest on our totem pole, or we'll just kind of swap out some things and just do like a temporary. It's not seasonal because we're seasonal as is, but it's like for a limited time we'll try to do different things just to see where the market goes. And it's all really, farming is just a game anyway. So
Super neat. How many hours do you spend out there a week, you think?
oh 60, sometimes 70. I mean, some of our employees work 14 hours a day and just work until they can't work anymore.
Wow.
So,
And this Florida heat is, I'm sure, so hard on you guys.
yeah, it's rough, which is why we don't do in the summertime. It's a little bit more relaxed. We don't do any harvesting or any planting in the summertime, just because nothing will grow. You have the heat in the morning time at 8 o'clock, then you have the sun showers, and you have the daytime showers and everything like that. And then what it does is it just steams the ground. So nothing is really, the stuff that we do is all leafy, and it's very temperamental. So we don't even try.
So then what do you do when you're not growing?
We do like field repairs, tractor repairs, which I'm sure you've seen.
I have. You are incredible.
So yeah, we just kind of do maintenance, cleaning, straightening up. If we have new land, then we take the time and like clear the land, relay all the canals, because that's our water system that we use. A lot of people use in South Florida. So make sure the canals are good, and yeah, just anything that we don't have time to do during the season. Because once the season starts, there's no time for anything to break down.
So you are absolutely blue collar. Thank your farmers out there, guys. This woman, like, she's sitting there with her makeup done and all pretty today, but I'm going to show you guys some pictures of her working, driving her tractor.
This was my excuse to do my makeup today. Like, I never. I'm like, I'm going to sweat it off by the time I walk outside anyway. So I just don't even. So this was my excuse. So thank you for having me. So I felt
You are
like
gorgeous
a woman
all the
today.
So how many acres do you work with?
So that's a tricky question. So each farm, we have a couple different locations in Palm Beach County and in Port St. Lucie. So we have like 100 acres, 120 acres, like little plots in different areas. But the thing is, what we farm on, the amount of land we farm on versus what we harvest off of. So we triple crop. So we triple plant, sometimes even quadruple plant in a season on the same land, because some of our items are only 30 days until they're ready to be harvested. So once we plant that, it grows, it's ready to be harvested, then we harvest it, we disc the land, we plow it all up, and we rebed it to plant again. So it's very fast paced. It's very, each week, my husband does the planting. So each week he is like, has a planting schedule on what's going to be ready, what needs to be planted, what's kind of taking a little bit more time. So our acreage, if we only have 100 acres that we farm on, we end up farming 300 acres per farm, if that makes sense. Location.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you own your property, or do you have to lease? Because I know I have a buddy who is in the farming, and I know leasing, he's doing it now with his dad, and they're just building more and more and more out, especially where you're at.
Yeah. Both. We own land and we lease. And actually, funny story, we farm right behind your house where you live.
So crazy. Such a small world.
Yep. Right behind your house. So that is a property that we lease, but they've been, I don't even know how many years they've farmed on that. Over 20 years, I would say they've been farming back there, and just it's been great land. And so just with, like you said, all the development we just got to be bopping around and find out where we can go next.
So back to you. What do you do? Because I know you do it all.
Yeah, you're in a tractor
for work.
Yes.
I don't think I have a title of what I do. The job that doesn't get done if I don't do it is food safety. So, and payroll. So I'm kind of like office is where I'm supposed to be, but I will jump at the opportunity if something needs to be done out in the field. Like, I don't know. I love it. I'm in my element when I'm just out and kind of like just getting dirty. And it's funny because my in-laws are very meticulous about cleanliness and things like that. And so when I'm like, if I'm asked to help work on something, I don't even think about getting gloves to like keep my hands from getting grease all over it. You can tell if I've been working on something because I literally look like it. Like I've rolled in grease, I've rolled in oil. And I'm like, I don't care. It's gonna get washed anyway. I'm not gonna spend my time, trying to stay clean. It'll come off eventually, I guess. So, but yes, I love doing and having my hand in a little bit of everything, but food safety and payroll are the things that if I don't do, they will not get done.
What does food safety entail?
Oh, so by law, we have to test our water that we use. So each month when we're in season, I have to come out, test the water. I put it in a little test tube, and then it gets delivered by me out to Belglade because that's the only place that there is around here unless I ship it, which I'm not going to do. Plus, it gives me time to drive and relax. So I take that as my opportunity to just kind of wind down and take a nice drive. So I do that. We have to keep track of fertilizer, which fertilizer was used on which field, which piece of equipment was used to fertilize it. So there's a log for everything. It's really a hassle, but at the end of the day, it makes things so nice because if there's a blip in anything that's happened, then you go back, you look at that field and you can see what was sprayed on it, what was, fertilized with and who did it. So it's like there's accountability everywhere. It's just you can't let it slip. It's every day there's stuff that has to be done and it has to be filled out. And if it's not filled out, it didn't happen. So on top of making sure the responsibilities get done, I have to make sure that things get logged appropriately and in a timely manner. And then because we're such a small company, I have to have someone else verify. I can't verify things that I've filled out. So I have to have someone else go in and verify that I did what I was supposed to do and that the people did what they were supposed to do. So it's a lot. It's probably my least favorite thing to do. But I also kind of love it because I'm in control and I'm realizing that that's a thing that I like. And I think the responsibility of it coming back on me makes me make sure that things get done the way they're supposed to get done.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I have my flaws, but I use them to my to my benefit, I guess.
You definitely do a lot out there. The other day I seen you working on the tractor. What were you doing?
So that was a 40-year-old tractor. My father-in-law brought that down with him when he started farming here, and the hood just was needed some repairs. And I love anything that has to do with my hands, sensory, anything like that. So if it's Bondo, I can do fiberglass. I don't know why I feel empowered because a lot of the time it's really difficult and I like challenges. So yeah, I fixed the hood. Not how I wanted to do it, but my husband kept saying, it's fine. It's a 40-year-old hood. Just leave it alone. Just fix it so it's drivable and doable. And I'm like, no, I don't want it to look dumb or ugly. You're like, I want it to look nice. And so, yeah, I had to do some fiberglass. I had to do Bondo. I had to then sand it down and then it had to get painted and it looks good. So yeah, that's my thing. I'm just put me in, coach, whatever it is, I'll figure it out.
You are incredible.
Thank you.
And then what else? Because I know there's so much.
Oh, what else? This is my office away from my office. So I will do, what's hooked up behind me is a transplanter. So some of our stuff gets directly seeded in and some of our stuff gets transplanted in just to help save on cost and expenses. So we don't have to kind of nurture and watch the stuff that's in the field from seed to this size. So I will do transplanting, which I don't do. I just drive the tractor because I'm not fast enough to it's hand dropped into a little rotating device that they drop it in, and it's every foot a plant gets transplanted, and I can show you. I'm right by a field that just got transplanted.
Wow.
If you can see. So yeah, so I drive the tractor and just do, I mean, yeah, I just, if there's a need and I have the flexibility and time to do it, I will do it. Even there's some days I'm like, all right, I have no idea. I've never driven this tractor before. What do I do? Just tell me, and then watch me go one pass and let me know if I do it right. So, but I mean, if you know how to drive, then everything else is just pretty easy. It's just a little overwhelming if you don't know. But my husband is always, he's kind of my biggest cheerleader when it comes to like working, because he'll be like, oh, you can do it, it's fine, or like, oh, you're really good at it, just like, you know what you're doing. And I'm always like, yeah, you're right, I do know what I'm doing, even though I don't, but I'm like, I'll figure it out. So
you're so awesome.
I like to jump in where I see help, and sometimes it's not an option for me to not jump in. I just am forced into doing it, but it doesn't ever hurt anything. So
Guys, if you're watching, Amy is exactly what I like to call a triple threat. She is beauty, brains, and blue collar. She's absolutely incredible. And I mean, this is just a tiny, well, it takes up the majority of your life, but this is just a tiny piece of who Amy really is. Let's talk about being a mom. Like, I see you with your son, taking him fishing, you're teaching him how to drive the tractor. You're really doing it all.
From the time I was little, I've always wanted to be a mom. Like I could picture myself having kids, but not, I don't know if this sounds bad or not, but not necessarily like having a spouse. Like I just always wanted to be a mom, however that came in my life. So I don't know. I didn't want a boy. You have in your mind that you want what you want, and you kind of want to follow in your family's footsteps. So I have two older siblings, a boy, girl, boy. I'm the youngest, and I don't know, I just thought that that's what I wanted. We ended up having him, and I thought that I had purpose and drive before him, but he has made me want to just be and do whatever I can do, and just show him, not just like he can do it and I can show him that, but like his mom taught him this. And I don't want to take anything away from his dad, because he's taught him, the dad things, but like for me to just be like, you want to go fishing? Okay, dad's working, let's go out fishing. I can hook your line up for you, I can take the fish off, I'll teach you how to do it. And it's just things that like make me realize I just want him to be as balanced and grounded as I grew up. And it's so hard in Palm Beach County, because if you don't know someone in a blue collar career or job, you just get lost in the city, and that is not me. And so the fact that I can still have like my childhood and bring up him kind of in a way that I grew up, which was not around here, it just drives me to be that much of a better mom. And I think the older he gets, the more I focus on, mental health and how to really talk, how to make him feel heard, and to be able to talk to me and to know, like, I mess up. I fly off the handle. I say things I shouldn't say. And just that it's okay. And the older he gets, the harder it is that I see myself not as much grace as I think I used to, and patience with him. But when I acknowledge it, then it kind of brings me back. So I don't want to, I'm not the best mom in the world, but I love our relationship with each other, and I love the things that he teaches me and that I teach him. And I don't want to be on the sidelines being like, that's a man thing that he should teach. I don't want to be like that. I want him to know, like, yeah, my mom is a badass. She can do everything.
Yes, you are such a badass.
Anybody else can do. So, I mean, I just thought the other day, the tractor that I'm in, he wanted to go for a ride, and I'm like, okay, but you have to learn how to use the clutch. Like, you can't just sit in my lap and drive. Like, you're 6, you're old enough to know how to do this. So I like taught him how to use the clutch, and I don't know, I love that. It's so empowering, and it's so, I don't know, it's just it's purposeful, and it's fun, and he loves it, and it's just a memory that we're gonna have forever. And I try not to be the one that like just posts things just to get the credit for it, you know. Like, I don't feel like that's what I am or who I am, because if you see him or meet him, you will know he does everything that I have shown the world that he can do in a picture or video. So yeah, he's my purpose and my drive, and makes me want to just keep going even when I feel like I don't.
You are so incredible, and I can't express that enough to everyone. Like, seeing your pictures just light up my day with him in the tractor learning how to drive and everything you do with him. You're doing an amazing job juggling it all.
Thank you. Thank you.
How
I
old are
don't know
you?
how I do it. I am 30. How old am I? I'm 34.
You're 34. Wow, and he's 6, you said.
He's 6.
Where are you from? Where do you come from?
I am from Trenton, Florida, which is a teeny tiny one red light town west of Gainesville. So if you know Gainesville, just hit west, go about 45 minutes out. I don't know miles, we go by minutes. So yeah, little one red light town, just very rural country, um, agricultural influence, all of the above. Actually, Easton Corbin, if you know who that is, he's a country singer. He is from Trenton.
Very
Oh, wow.
cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So, did you grow up doing any of this? Were you outdoorsy?
Oh, yeah. I grew up doing, I don't know that I would say I did everything, but I was always involved. Like, my dad is, you know, we would always make a joke that he would never buy anything that worked. He would always buy broke stuff. And he would have it out in the yard just working on it, you know, rewiring, doing all the mechanic things. Like, my dad, my brother, my whole family, even his, you know, his brothers, my uncles and stuff, can really do anything. And my dad would always take all of us fishing, and we would go camping at one of the ponds, which now when I think about it, I don't know that I would ever do that. I don't think I would ever take Bryson to go swimming in the lake that had like alligators all over. I mean, I probably would, actually. I don't know. But yeah, just grew up swimming in the Swanee River, all the things, like all the outdoor things. And we had a grocery store, you know, like we had a Dollar General. We didn't have any fast food chains. The first thing we got was a Subway. And if we needed something, we would have to go to Gainesville and do our school shopping and things like that. Or we would have to drive 20 minutes to go to the closest Walmart. And so we were just very self-sustainable. And I mean, ate real food, never ate out. Like, we never ate out. Well, one, we didn't have a lot of money, and two, we just, with 2 adults and 3 kids, trying to go out to eat. And I don't know really how I ate when I was a kid, but now I eat like a grown man, I feel like.
Me too.
I love
food. Yep.
I love food, and I'm like, all right, it's all right, eat it.
Tiffany conquers the Longhorn steak, like the 24-ounce steak.
I can put it down.
There'll be nothing on the plate, and she's like, I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm still growing.
I know. I'm 5'2". I'm sure I still have room to grow, for sure.
Right?
I don't know. I think
Yeah, so I think
stop.
Yeah, just I don't know, just growing up, we always, I don't know, we were all in school. We had we had mechanic, we had woodwork, which I did. We had welding. I did welding. Like, I was always just
they had that in high school.
wanting to do it all. Like, I want to know, and I now that I look back, I've always been like that, I guess. And now it's just kind of showing more because it's able to be documented. But yeah, I've always just been, let me figure it out. Let me do it. I don't care if I get dirty. And I think a lot of women back home are still like that too. I have a couple of friends that are farm with their husband, and they're right in there with it, driving the tractors, doing what needs to be done. And I think that kind of just contributes to how I am now and the way I grew up.
So cool that you kept that lifestyle and you're still very much into being hands-on.
And teaching your
Yeah.
kids.
If I
Yeah.
didn't, if I weren't in this, like doing farming, Palm Beach County would not be for me. Like, and I think that's why kind of me and you always gravitated towards each other, because we're very just like, I don't want to say down to earth because that's kind of overrated, but we're like, we'll do it. We'll try it, whatever. And there's not a lot of women that I've found here that are like that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But I just, at the end of the day, I want to be who I am and just do the things and do the manly things, I guess.
Well, we are so proud of you. Like, you are
Thank you.
just one heck of a woman.
Thank
Let's
you.
go back to food because, again, this is not all Amy does. She is something else.
Yeah.
Those hands are like magic hands. Talk about being hungry. Amy bakes, and Amy bakes some delicious looking stuff. We haven't had the chance to try it, but I'm showing John.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I show
Like,
him
oh my
all the
God.
time. I'm like, look how gorgeous this bread looks. Tell him.
Yeah. I've always loved to cook, and I cook. I cook 99% of our meals, and I grew up with my nanny, who's actually still alive. She's 104. She'll be 105 in December. So
wow.
I didn't go to preschool. I was with her. And I just remember her sitting me, when she could carry me, on the counter, and she would make pancakes. I mean, from scratch. Like she wouldn't even measure anything. Like, she would just do it. And I just remember always sitting up there on the counter and like being in the kitchen with her, and she would let me, stir it or do whatever. And it all started from there. And I've written, when things come up in school, that it's like, write about your most influential person. And she was always the one. Like, she taught me it all. So that's kind of where it all started, was when I was 3 and 4. And I just have always loved to bake. I've always loved to cook. I just find it so fascinating. And it comes back to control. Everything that has to do with cooking, you control it. And you create it, and you make it what you want it to be. And last year, my son started kindergarten, and he was with me. He didn't go to preschool. And I just remember being so anxious and nervous and scared. And what do I do now? Like, I don't know. He's all that I know. He went to work with me. He's with me every day. And I was so scared. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Well, over the last summer, I was given a sourdough starter. And the same week that he started school is the same week that I made probably 100 loaves of bread.
Incredible.
And I'm like, what am I doing? And it wasn't until like a year later, maybe 6 months later, that I was like, holy crap, I had zero control over how he was going to act. I had nothing. I had no control over what was happening, him going to school, who was teaching him, who his friends were going to be, if he was going to be okay, if he had enough like backbone to defend himself, all the things, all the doubt that just came flooding in, I put in to every single loaf of bread that I made. And I didn't stop until I was content with how it looked, and until I just put all my focus that I couldn't control into something that I could control. And it was refreshing, and it just took my mind away from all the doubt that I had. And so now I don't, the funny thing is I can't even eat the bread. My body hates bread, rice, pasta, anything, which is sad. It's really
Me
sad.
too, though. I can't
Yeah.
do it.
It's, and I'm like, well, I really hope this tastes good. And so in the beginning I would like, you know, you can't give someone a loaf of bread that's cut down the middle. You can't. And I'm like, all right, hey, just if you could, can you just like cut the loaf open and like send me a picture of it? I had no idea. There's like, oh, study the crumb. And there's so much technical stuff that goes with it. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just going to keep doing it because people like it and I love it and it keeps me calm and it's an outlet. And then, yeah, I just haven't stopped. And I love it. Love everything about bread making and bread baking. And it's just because you're in control. And a lot of the times it might not come out like you think, which is nice too, because then you get kind of put back in your place. Like it doesn't matter how much you do. You cannot control everything and to make it the way that you want it to be or you think that it's going to be. So yeah, whenever I feel stressed, the kitchen I'm like, okay, you need me in there? Let me bust out some loaves of bread. And I never have anyone that's like ready to buy it. But then when I make it, I'm like, hey, I got 8 loaves of bread. Who wants it? You know, and so everybody in my community will keep me busy and keep me from eating bread that I shouldn't be eating anyway.
That's so awesome. And that's such a healthy habit. Like, not habit, but hobby. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hobby to have. I mean, all these hours you're spending on the farm. Then I get on Facebook and I see you and Bryson in the kitchen. You're teaching him how to bake. He, you know, half of the time he doesn't have clothes on. He's a boy. He's just like our son, no clothes. But
I know.
he's in the kitchen with his apron and he's stirring everything and he's helping you. You are doing such an incredible job.
Thank you.
He is going to be one well-rounded man.
He has the sweetest heart, and I'm not just saying that because he's my kid, but like because I've been around a lot of kids. Yeah. And what's funny is like being a preschool teacher, circling back, there were names that came up that I'm like, absolutely not. We cannot name our kid that name because there's just I don't know, memories.
Bad impression.
Yeah.
And yeah. So it was just, I'm like, no, there was one boy that I always remembered, and I'm actually friends with his mom on Facebook, and I think he's graduating this year, and his name was Bryson, and he was the sweetest boy, the kindest boy. And I'm just like, that was kind of a name that came up. You know, there was Mason and there was a couple others, and I'm like, I can't do a Mason. But I don't know. He really is kind and sweet and sincere, and he has empathy, which sometimes makes my heart hurt because I'm like, you're so young to feel what someone else feels, you know, but he does. And I'm never going to try to take that away from him. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I just want you to be a kid. Like he grew up, he was born like an 80-year-old. So I'm like, he's just old, you know? And there was one day that I'm like, oh, I gotta clean the kitchen. He was like, you know what, mommy, this was probably a year ago. He's like, I'll do it. You just go sit on the couch. And I'm like, no. And he's like, yes. And he like made me sit on the couch. And I don't think I've ever felt worse. I was like, oh my God, like, please just let's do it together. I don't want you to feel like this responsibility. And he's like, no, I really want to do it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So he really is a good kid. And
that is so sweet. I have a 35-year-old man who won't even clean the kitchen.
Okay, I didn't say my husband either. He won't either. But my kid.
Hold on. Okay, let's go ahead and tell the truth now. That this man is the one who cooks every night.
He does.
For her.
Okay, so Tiffany, it's your job to clean up.
Yes, and I do.
Balance. That's the balance.
I like how she just throws that one. Oh, I didn't clean. She didn't mention that I cook everything.
No, we have our fair share of jobs around here.
Yeah.
But that is so awesome. He is such a handsome little boy and growing up so fast. Back to you not wanting a boy. Look at you now.
I know. And I tell you, when I got the package from when I ordered the shirts from you, and that wallet was in there that day. I was like, oh, I got something for you. I got us both a matching shirt, and oh, he loved it. But that wallet, he loves. He's never had a wallet before, and just the pictures on it, like he has it stuffed full with every bill that he could find in the house. Like the thing, he has a rubber band around it. Like and he doesn't use it. Obviously, he doesn't go anywhere to shop, but he loves that wallet. And so I wanted to thank you for that, because that was just, it was so special to him, and it made me realize, like, yeah, he's never had a wallet. So
that makes me so
he's never had money, really.
Now you just have to keep your eye on the wallet, because Corbin has one, and Corbin did the same thing. He stuffs it with dollar bills, pennies, nickels, whatever he can put in it, and it's all leather. It has a little snap, and it just barely snaps, and then he'll throw it in his playroom, and you won't see it for months.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like, yeah, I have money. I'm like, where? It's in my playroom somewhere.
Like somewhere. It's put away. It's put away. Oh yeah, I know. Well,
I'm so glad he likes it. Guys, if you've seen the Blue Collar apparel line, Arcing Ahead, apparel.com, we have stuff for not only men, women, families. We have stuff for children too. We have the Collar Kids line, and that's what Amy's talking about. We sent Bryson a Collar Kids wallet, and I'm so glad he liked it.
He loves it.
Well, guys, I think we've kind of, I mean, there's so much to say about Miss Amy. She's truly a heck of a woman. I mean, this woman, I see her working out. I see her on the farm. I see her doing mom life fishing. I see her baking in the kitchen with her son. You go to church. You do it all. How you find the energy to do it all, please send me some.
How do you find
I know. I don't know that I have an answer on to how I do it all. I'm kind of like an all or nothing. If I'm not doing something, I'm literally doing absolutely nothing. Like I'm on the couch doing nothing. So I don't know if that's like balance, or if that's just I go 120% every day, and then I'm like, all right, chill. It's time to like wind it down. But what?
You need a little time to relax.
Yeah. And when I relax, I'm like, all right, down for the count, sleeping, doing, yeah.
That was me on Saturday. I completely crashed. Like you just go like the Energizer Bunny, and it just gets to you. But
yeah. And I think too, like Saturdays is the time where you can finally breathe. At least for me. I mean, we do work 6 days a week, but with Bryson being in school now, which has really cut back my working, which is nice. It's like Saturdays finally, like I don't have to wake up at 5:30. I don't have to, like I don't have to get him up and get dressed and like do all the things for 5 days in a row. And it's like Saturdays, my body's like, all right, it's time. Today's a day where we can just pump the brakes and relax a little bit. But yeah, it's a lot. I like to stay busy. I've always been a busybody, so I just have now figured out how to actually utilize my time efficiently and make it work for me. So,
well, don't forget to rest, because you're definitely doing a lot.
Yeah, I know.
We appreciate you coming on and talking to us today. You're obviously at work now, so thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome. Thanks for thinking about me. I'm honored for you to think so highly of me, and yeah, it just kind of it's a nice feeling. So I appreciate you guys.
Again, everyone, thank you for tuning in. This is Amy Yee from Yee Farms here in West Palm Beach, Florida.
All right.